how to use the support resistance solver with a kind of pivots type of indicator, right? An indicator that's kind of provide a number of support resistance levels here. So I'm just using the Woody's pivots here as a substitute for this indicator. And so the question is that if price comes near the lower 3 support resistance levels, then he wants to generate short only signals, right? Short only signals when price is within the vicinity of the support resistance lines. And then of course, if price is, near the upper 2 SR lines, then he'd like to generate long signals. And the way the question's written, it sounds like just if it doesn't matter if price is above the line or below the line. It's just when price gets near the SR line, generate a short signal. Same thing for the upper SR lines. If price is just near them, doesn't matter if their price is below or above the line, but just near the line, then generate a long output or a long signal. Yeah, all right, so let's get BloodHound open here. And let me just start working on the logic tab here and create a new logic template here. So let's see here. All right, a little bit of a lengthy name there, but that's okay. All right, well, so let's start off with the support resistance solver here. All right, so there we go. Add that on the board, and let's connect that up. And let's see here. So in this case, since we have a unique situation here, since we're going to be, let's see, we're going to be looking for price to come near the SR line. So yeah, so we want to use tailwind. All right, so tailwind tells you when price is in proximity to your support resistance line. All right, so tailwind is typically used, for trying to find a bounce trade. Yeah, just like as we have it, just like we kind of see right here, right? So price is coming down to the PP line, and so if you're looking to create a possible, bounce signal off of that line, that's what tailwind is mode. That's what tailwind mode is used for. So for finding out when price is close, within proximity to one of your support resistance line. All right, tailwind. Next thing, let's see, let's open this up a little bit. We want to use an indicator as the, to generate the support resistance lines. So let's open that, set that to true. All right, so now a new field here, a new option here just became available. So now we can select our indicator. So let's click on that, and let's go find the indicator here that I'm using, which is, again, the Woody's. I'm just using the Woody's pivots as an example. All right, and I also, let's see, yeah, we're using daily and use daily bars. No, I changed that to calculate from intraday data. All right, so we have that selected. And then next, the support resistance solver is a unique solver in that you can actually select all the plots, right? In all the other solvers, you're only allowed to select, one plot for the long and one plot for the short signals, right? One at a time. But with the support resistance solvers, so obviously the intent of the support resistance solvers is to analyze, right, multiple SR lines at once. So, all right, so let's select all the lines there. Click OK. All right, so there's a little bit more done. Next, we need to select what price we want to use here, right? What price type do we want to use here? So I'm just going to, I guess to keep this simple, I'll just use the closing price of the bar. So, all right, next step, let's set up our distances, right? So the distance targets determines, how close price needs to get to our SR line, to generate an output. And so there we go, right? We can see right there on those two bars, price has gotten close enough to generate a long output, right? Because there could be a possible long bounce off of that line. All right, so what I'm going to do is actually, instead of using an ATR here, I'm going to switch it over to ticks, because that's just a little, ticks are a lot easier to visualize on a chart versus ATRs. All right, so for ticks, let's see here. We're using the RTY instrument. Let's just say, price needs to get within 5 ticks of that line, and we'll generate a signal. And there we go. Okay, so that'll do it. And so now we can see we got a few more signals here created. So so we can see this short signal here, right? And so remember that when price, the question that came in was when price is close to the lower 3 SR lines, then we wanted a short output. And when price is up around the upper 2, we want only a long output, right? So only a short output down here and only a long output up here. So we're going to have to manipulate, right, the signals coming out of the support resistance solver there. So what we'll do is we'll use the long short modifier to do that. All right, so long short modifier is the go-to function node when you want to take some kind of an output here and manipulate it, change it into something else. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the addition mode, and we need to connect that in. There we go. Let's connect that in so we can see it there. All right. So if we look at BloodHound's output down here, right now we're getting a long and a short. We're getting both outputs. And so now that we're getting both long and short at the same time, we can now use another solver to filter out whether we want a long signal or whether we want a short signal. Right, so now we need another solver to determine, are we at the lower 2 SR lines or are we at the upper 2 SR lines? So, and then that secondary solver would then filter out whether we're getting, short signals or long signals. All right, so let's grab that next solver. So for that, we're going to use the comparison solver. All right, so what are we doing? Well, we're going to compare price to, we have a choice here. We can compare price to the PP line. And so if price is at the PP line or lower or less, then we know that we want shorts only, and if price, is above the PP line, then we know that we want longs only. So we can use this comparison solver to generate a short output or a long output, depending on whether price is, at this PP line or above it here. Let's actually put a name in here. So we're going to compare price to the Woody pivot PP line. So there you go. So something like that. All right. Now, remember, in this support resistance solver, we're looking at the close of the bar. So let's go back over to our comparison solver, and we need to use the same price data, right? So we're going to set input A to price, and we're going to leave it on the close price, right? So it's important to make sure that input A, right, whatever price you use in input A, you need to have that match the same price that you're using in the support resistance solver, right? That only makes sense, right? You want both solvers to, to be looking at the same price data. Okay, next we're gonna use an offset of 5 here, and the reason why is, remember, our support resistance solver is saying, we set it up so that if price gets within 5 ticks, if price gets within 5 ticks of the PP line, then that's close enough to generate that short signal, right? So basically what we've done is, we've created this, imaginary price line here. So in the comparison solver, right, we need to set the comparison solver up to essentially calculate this same price line that we're using, or this same price level that we're using in the support resistance solver. Okay, and then next, input B, well, that's going to be the PP line here, right? Because that's the PP line is what we've decided is the deciding SR line for whether we want short signals or long signals up here. So let's set input B to the Woody's PP line. So there we go. There's the Woody's. Add that down there. Again, remember to, adjust the indicator settings. And we're going to use the PP line. So that's already selected for us. So there you go. We're good to go. And now we just need to adjust our outputs here. And the only thing we need to do is just that. So for the short outputs, we needed A equals B within 5 ticks. We just needed to turn that output on, right? Set it to 1, which enables that output. So now, let's see, we have an output everywhere. Except this one bar. I'm going to have to take a closer look at this and see what is going on. Oh, it looks like this bar closed exactly on a 5-tick offset. Yeah, it looks like it was exactly 5 ticks, a 5-tick offset there. So let's just increase this a tad bit. There. All right. So we just needed to increase our difference, right, by just a fraction of a tick. Okay. So there you go. So now we have a short output there. And let's double check with the support resistance solver. Let's see here. Oh, so actually, the support resistance solver is telling us that actually this bar is not, it's not within that 5-tick distance there. So there's no output from the support resistance solver. So actually, let's go back. So actually, we can adjust the difference back to 5 ticks, and that'll work just fine. So, all right. So one last step, all right, which is to grab an AND node and connect this all up. All right. So let's take a moment here to see, right? So right now, we're just looking at the modified support resistance solver output, right? And remember, this is giving us a long and a short output at the same time. And so now if we connect our comparison solver in, right, the comparison solver creates the filter which will, determine whether we're getting a short only or a long only. And so there we go. So now we can see, yep, so there we go. There's our short only now. So let's scroll back here and just kind of double check everything. Let's see if maybe price gets up here near R1 and R2. And there we go. Excellent. Yeah, let me get rid of this line there. There. So there you go. The close is within 5 ticks of R1, and we got a long output there. There we go. Up at R2, long outputs. All right. That is it. It was fairly simple.